Yes. And during your Montessori training, what was the most striking or eye-opening moment for you? Was there one anyway?
Oh yeah, definitely. Definitely philosophy classes. Definitely philosophy classes. It gave me so much understanding about children. And I remember when we were doing culture, when we spoke about art in the Montessori classroom and how children approach art. Because I have one of my nephews, he loves animals. When he was 3 years old, he loved animals. He used to draw them, and he was such a fantastic, some of his art, we have a wall where we put all his art. He was a fantastic artist when it comes to animals. And then I just realized that when he started reading, he wasn't drawing as much. And I bought like all these sketchbooks for him, just to help his art talent, his drawing talent. And I just realized that he wasn't drawing as much. He was rather reading. And then I saw in that book, unfortunately, I don't remember what book that is, but one of Maria's books, that with children, when they're not able to read, they might express themselves by drawing, whatever they're interested in. They might draw those things because they're not able to read. But the moment that they can read, that seeming interest in drawing that they were having might disappear, it might diminish. So we shouldn't be surprised. And that was such huge closure for me, because I had been forcing him to keep drawing. Like, you need to keep drawing. This is your talent. This is what you've been called to do. You've been called to draw animals. And he had lost the interest immediately he started reading, and just seeing that, it was a light bulb moment. So just understanding children was the aha moment for me. It was striking. It changed everything. It changed the way I relate with children, it changed the way I approach children. So definitely the philosophy and just understanding children was mind-blowing for me. Absolutely.
It's very profound, isn't it? It's like a philosophy for life. It's very profound.
Yeah.
I agree with you. Me too. I just read one book, and I've got to read all of the books. It is like, oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
It is really, I loved it because it made so much sense. It made so much sense. And I thought, wow, just like this, your example, this.
Yes.
So I'm really happy that many people feel that way when they discover Montessori. Now, in Nigeria, many people are still discovering Montessori. And how do you explain it to parents or communities who don't know much about it? And what is your, I would say, mission or, driving force to really encourage people to find out more about Montessori? How do you do it?
Well, so yes, unfortunately, authentic Montessori is still budding here. It's still really growing. But the word Montessori is not growing, because a lot of schools who don't do Montessori already have it in their name or something. They're already marketing themselves as Montessori. So when they come to an authentic Montessori environment and they're like, oh, or maybe they're trying to change schools and they come in, they're like, oh, I'm coming from a Montessori school. I ask a few questions, or I just check the school's page or websites, and I'm like, oh, another one. It's hard, trying to convince parents sometimes that what you have been told is Montessori, or what has been sold to you as Montessori is not Montessori. And then I have to just start again from the scratch. And I don't just go to the materials. I always start from how she started, because I am fascinated by her story. This is somebody who was going to be an engineer, and then she now became a doctor. She became a physician. And then she was sort of interning at a home for, special needs children, at a psychiatric hospital. It was all the way she came across it. It was all providence. And I try to tell parents how it even started, how she started observing the children, that the children who had been abandoned to these psychiatric homes actually were not idiots, as the parents or society had claimed them to be, but it was just because they were using a one-size-fits-all approach to education. And then she started studying the children, developing materials, and it was working with the special children. And then she thought to herself, oh, if it's working with the special children, what if I try it with the so-called normal children? And that was literally Maria herself's journey. So I usually start from the scratch, explaining that to parents. And then I now try to explain now how that brings us to an academic phase. So I tell them about, it's so interesting, because most times parents will come, maybe they're holding their child, they're carrying a child who can walk properly, or they have, a pacifier in their mouth. And sometimes I'm like, okay, can you drop your child? Can he walk? I remember one of them who had come to the school, had 2-year-old son. She was carrying him on the step, walking with him. And then I told her, oh, let him walk. And she said, oh, he's never walked on steps before. He's never climbed. I'm like, do you know he can? And she said, no, he can. I said, okay, let's just try and see what happens. And then he was walking by himself. And she started crying that she never knew that her son could walk on steps, that she had been carrying him. So I just tried to explain to parents, from the scratch. And just show them that it works. And usually the best selling is usually not my words that do the convincing, it's usually just seeing how it works with their children. One thing I do with my parents, it's very close collaboration. I told you about communication. I don't leave any loopholes. I tell them on the go. I keep them informed because it's a partnership. So if we come, and I let them know that Montessori is not a school, it's a lifestyle, it's a principle. So it's not about coming to a school and building pink blocks and then you go home, you're carrying the child, you're feeding the child, you're doing everything for the child is being fed at home, the child is watching screen, the child does absolutely nothing with his hands. It's counterproductive because it is a lifestyle, it is a partnership. So two have to be agreed for us to work together. So it's not just about coming to a school. I tell the parents, do this at home. Don't do this. Let's see how this affects the child. There are children who have come with speech delays, and I just ask a few questions. And I'm like, there's nothing wrong with your child. It's simply because of how you have raised this child so far. That is what is causing this delay or seeming developmental issues. I'm so slow to put labels on children. When I hear autistic or this or that, I'm like, wait, before we do this labeling, can we first see this child? Can we first understand the kind of environments that this child is being raised in at home? Can we see what the parent is doing, and can we make changes first? And most times, I'll tell you, 80% of the time, when we change a few things, when we tweak a few things, when we stop the screens, when we allow the children to do things, to be involved, the so-called developmental challenges just disappear. So it's a matter of approach. So again, like I said, the best conviction is usually the results in the children, so it's just the education that I can do. And I don't even wait for them to come to school. Let's say I go to a supermarket. I see maybe a 6-year-old with a mom, and I'm just like, oh, have you heard about Montessori? Or it's just on the go, because honestly, I believe in it so much. I see how it works. All my 7 nibblings, my nephews, my 6 nephews, and my 1 niece, they're all exposed to Montessori. It works. They are different in the way they do their things. They are helpful with their parents at home. They are organized. They are very articulate. They are intelligent. So I know that it works without almost fail proof. I'm with the hundreds of children that we've worked with. It's I believe in it. You can see I can get passionate.
I can see that you are very passionate, and I'm the same. We need people like you. We need hundreds of people like you.
Yes, we do, because it's the truth.
The truth is
that you
the truth is when we become Montessori, and I think we all have that passion in us. It's